Hi guys, this is Mr. Tan. Hi guys, so today we're going to be reviewing Michael Porter's generic strategies that he published in his book in 1985. We're going to look, at the purpose of Porter's generic strategies, where it actually sits within the organizational structure, and the different elements. Then we're going to look at an example to apply to Porter's generic strategies, and then finally again we want you to download the Zapper app to allow you to access additional homework and information. So if we look at Porter's generic strategy, this was first published in 1985 by Michael Porter. And here Michael Porter came up with his generic strategies in terms of positioning. And the three positioning strategies that he looked at were detailed in his book. And these three positioning strategies included a cost leadership differentiation and a focus strategy. Now, what is it that we mean by positioning? Well, if we think back to our marketing strategy, our marketing strategy predominantly has three elements to it, which is the segmentation, your targeting, and your positioning. So your positioning strategy is in essence how you want your customers to actually see your company or product or range of goods, and it's what you want people to think about your company. And Michael Porter is saying that you really need to adopt one of these three different approaches if you want to be successful, and you don't really want to be stuck in the middle. Now, again, it is important to obviously understand where the use of these are. When we've looked at the other models in terms of the BCG matrix, we've looked at the Porter's 5 forces, value chain. So we have to see where it sits within the organizational strategic perspective. So again, in the business strategy side, in the middle management, we've got models like Porter's 5 forces or the value chain that could be used to be shaping the business as a whole in terms of how it operates and how it does things. From a corporate level, as we previously mentioned, and then we've got the BCG matrix. So we can see that that Porter's generic strategies actually sit within the functional strategy part of the marketing strategy of the organization in terms of how they want to position this in the marketplace to their target customers. So the first option that Michael Porter looks at in his generic strategies, in his competitive advantage, trying to create and sustain superior performance, it is this in terms of trying to be the cheapest. It's not to say that you can't offer value. Yes, you can offer value, but if you're adopting this strategy, you need to be the cheapest. Yes, by offering value as well in certain product lines or in products, then you're actually going to gain better sales over a period of time. But the main point in terms of adopting this strategy is to be the cheapest. If someone else comes along and is cheaper than you, even though you're offering good value, then they are going to overtake you, and then they're going to be the brand leader in terms of cost leadership, in terms of perceived, in terms of being the cheapest. And by being the cheapest, you develop your brand recognition and reputation as the cheapest over a period of time. And so you develop this, and people know you in their mind's eye in terms of when they want to shop. So the question really is, how can a company implement and maintain a cost leadership strategy? Well, Michael Porter, talks about various options in terms of gaining and incorporating economies of scale, because you're a largest supplier out there and your buying power means you can buy more, therefore getting greater and better costs in terms of your cost of goods sold, which again, if we know, you take away from your sales, which gives you your net profit. Another way that Michael Porter talks about is by switching from supplier to supplier to get the best prices, as long as you have a huge range of suppliers out there. And, even trying to incorporate innovative techniques to try and drive up the competitors' costs, so their costs remain high. So their selling prices will be higher than yours, and that thus your cost leadership will be maintained, because you'll be your products will be at a cheaper price than your competitors. So the next strategy that Michael Porter talks about is the differentiation strategy. And Michael Porter was saying that if you're not going to go for a low cost strategy, then you need to position yourself and your company's needs to have something that's different, that would entice your customers to pay more for your company's products. And this point of differentiation really has to be sustainable. It can't be to begin with and then tailor up. It needs to be sustainable on an ongoing basis, and after a long period of time, that will ultimately build brand loyalty. Some ways to do this and to think about your differentiation with quality and performance. Differentiation can also come from your types of distribution channels, or even through your customer service and after sales service, or longer warranties, to differentiate yourself from your competitors in that marketplace. So according to Michael Porter, he is saying that you should adopt either a cost leadership approach or a differentiation approach, either or, and you can be successful in both. And what Michael Porter is saying is that with whatever strategy you adopt, you really need to make sure that you're not actually sitting in the middle. You're not between cost leadership and differentiation in terms of how you're perceived by your target market. You need to either be perceived as being the lowest cost or differentiated in terms of your product or company range. And so the other point that Porter is saying is that with either of these strategies, it needs to be sustainable, and you need to ensure that your company, in how you incorporate the value chain and how you incorporate your bargaining power with suppliers. If you're opting for a cost leadership approach, you must be sustainable for the long term in whatever strategy that you're adopting, and you mustn't be sat in the middle of the road. So we know that Michael Porter said that you should adopt either a cost leadership or differentiation approach, and the third approach is going to be a focus approach. And what Michael Porter is saying here is that you can adopt either a focus approach within cost leadership or a focus approach within your differentiation strategies. So you get a cost focused approach or a differentiation focused approach. So the third option was to adopt either one of these, but targeting a specific niche within that market segment. So if it's a cost leadership approach, you target a specific niche within that price sensitive marketplace. If you're adopting a differentiation approach, well, how else are you going to be different? How else are you going to differentiate yourself to a specific target market within that sector? So if we look at an example with Porter's generic strategies with cost leadership and differentiation focus and cost focus. Well, if we take Aldi as being a low cost producer in the food retail market, then in terms of cost focus, low cost focus, then we could see this with Poundland focusing on a limited range of retail products. Doesn't have the whole range as Aldi has, and their whole strategic positioning is about all their products being under £1. And so when Poundland buy their stock, they buy it so they can make the gross profit margin that they require. So they buy it at a specific price so they can retail it at a specific price. But there are actually, when you go into Poundland, some products in there which do slightly go over £1. So even though it's called Poundland, because of their higher cost, travelling costs and goods which they might get in from Brexit, it is putting a lot of strain on Poundland to be under or just to be £1. If we look at the differentiation in the car market, well, BMW is not lowest car price, but BMW, is a high performance car, and it is differentiated amongst its rivals. In the German car market, you have BMW, Volkswagen, and Mercedes, who are the predominantly three top manufacturing companies for cars, and BMW is one of the leading car manufacturers in Germany. If we look at differentiation focus in the car market, well, here we have a Ferrari. Well, Ferrari is superior high performance car which commands over £100,000, £200,000, up to £1 million or more. And then these again is targeting a narrower niche market within the high performance car market. If you haven't already, please download Zapper. Just go to your mobile and put in download Zapper app, and then the Zapper will come up. Install it on your mobile. Once you open it, you can scan this barcode. This barcode will lead you onto other links that we would like you to watch other videos and other things to for homework. So before you start using these models, have a look at this to gain a broader understanding, so it will assist you when you're actually applying this model. So thank you today from Mr. Tan.